Hi, my name is Logan Timbrook, and we're going to talk about how Screamo music is actually not the devil's worship. So I have a few lyrics here for you guys. Pretty popular pop song, Nicki Minaj, Stupid Ho. As you can see, no story, no emotion to this song. It's composed of like 4 words. Compared to Screamo lyrics, which the perception today is it's about hurting yourself, right? As you can see, by the band called The Color Morale, I'll read these lyrics. Come to me with anything that you'll ever need. Come to me when you're rebuilding. Sometimes it's good to build up walls, not to keep anyone out, but to see who cares enough to knock them down. And then I also have another song here. Sleeping with Sirens. They say that love is forever. Your forever is all that I need. Please stay as long as you need. Can't promise that things won't be broken, but I swear that I will never leave. Please stay forever with me. So the term Screamo is actually really disrespectful. Society gave it that term just because some lyrics are screamed and some lyrics sang. Today, the band's lineups have a drummer, a guitarist, a bassist, and 2 vocalists. One to actually sing normally, clean, and one to scream sing. Today, we're going to talk about how these lyrics from these bands, the technical term for these bands are actually called post-hardcore music. We'll find out how the lyrics are very deep and actually pretty emotional. They write about real-life experiences. The instrumentation is very difficult. I totally believe that this instrumentation is the hardest instrumentation I've ever seen. And lastly, we'll talk about how the suicide rate is actually very low compared to other types of music. We'll also see how screaming in music just gives it a bad perception right off the bat because of what society already thinks. We'll find out how these musicians must be the best in the music industry, period, because of what they have to play. And we'll also find out that actually country has the highest suicide rate. So to begin, according to Frank Faulkner in the journal Probing the Boundaries, published in 2009, metal music is a misunderstood beast, and to single it out as Satanism is absolutely absurd. As you've already seen from the past lyrics, the lyrics are not about hurting yourself, okay? Get that out of your minds, it's not true. But they are pretty uplifting. They're very deep and emotional. And we'll talk about this later, but these bands write about real-life experiences that they've already gone through compared to other bands or pop artists like Justin Bieber or something like that, who just writes about, quite frankly, crap. So we'll move on. The emotion. They're amazing in concert. They have tons of energy. Everyone's jumping around. Just a sense of joy. Like I said, there's deep emotion in songs. When you guys get upset, super upset, your parents, your siblings, someone else, you yell, you scream, okay? And that's what these guys are doing. They think of their voice as a voice of passion and an art form, so that's why they do it. It's a tough outer shell of the music, but soft lyrics on the inside. And this is really the main point to get. These musicians are broken, and they write about real-life experiences, the love, the breakups that they've gone through. And they connect with people who listen to this who listen to this music because they feel the exact same thing. So now that we talked about emotion, we'll talk about instrumentation here. Musicians must be very gifted with their instruments. Like I said, the drum and guitar parts are off the charts difficult, and it's often classified as chaotic. And you're probably thinking, well, it just screams as loud as you can into the mic, right? That's actually not true. If you do that, you can actually really damage your vocal cords and possibly rip them out in some way. According to Jonathan D. of the New York Times, published in 2003, vocalists who scream don't like the term Screamo and laugh at it. They find it as a voice of passion, like I already said. And lastly, musicians must practice a lot and take time to learn their parts. Every note has to be exactly correct. It takes about 2 to 3 years for them to release an album. So the main point here is that they have to play their music. They can't go into the studio and just make it sound perfect, okay? Like other artists. Other artists auto-tune so much that I can't even tell what's real, can't even tell what's fake. These bands don't do that. They are expected to learn their parts exactly correct. The last point, they must learn how to play in a group. Like I said, pop artists, solo acts for the most part, country artists, rappers, stuff like that. They really don't interact with their fans. They don't interact with the rest of their band who's playing behind them. All they want that #1 hit. They want to be famous. They don't really care about other people. These bands are exactly different. They care about their fans, and that's who they write for. So I have a song here that's just the instruments, so you guys can get a sound of or a taste of what it sounds like. So that's just a taste of, what this type of music sounds like. And now that we talked about instrumentation, we'll finally talk about my last point, suicide rates. So teens and young adults often find closure in these lyrics because they're actual verbal representations of how they feel. Like I said before, the brutal music makes them feel like they're actually conquering their fears in some type of way. According to Stephen Stack from the University of North Carolina Press, published in 1992, it's proven that country actually has the highest suicide rate. It actually talks about hopelessness and alcohol quite a bit, and the jokes are always around that you lose your dog, your wife, your family, your truck, and all that. It actually gives the listener the impression that whatever happens is just fate, and it can't be changed. So country is also followed by rap, and then most importantly, blues, pop, techno, and metal, which is this type of music. We're all close for tying for third. So today we learned, to conclude this presentation, we learned that post-hardcore music actually has very deep lyrics and emotional lyrics, has extremely difficult instrumentation, and also has a pretty low suicide rate compared to other types of music. The main point to get from all this, from this speech, is to learn that these bands are really doing what they love, and they're writing for their fans, unlike some other artists out there today. They're actually making enough money they can support themselves financially and their families, so if they can do that, I mean, what's wrong with them screaming in music, okay? Variety adds to the spice of life. So, just to conclude this presentation, I hope you guys learned something. I hope that next time you hear a song that's like that, on the radio or something, or one of your family members is playing it, you just actually look up the lyrics, and they're pretty deep and they're pretty impactful, so maybe you can start to like it yourself.